Yes, guys, I hope that you're good. It's Ben Hawks, the Coach Consultant, and today I'm going to be coming completely off the cuff, and we're going to basically build a £10,000 per month coaching business together. And just as a disclaimer, this is also how you are going to be coming in and earning 100k. It's also how you're going to be coming in and earning 1 million, right? The only differentiating factor from basically that to the next stage is going to be volume, right? In order to scale, we need volume as a first starting point, right? But in order to make sure that we're pushing volume and emitting the right type of rewards, what it's going to come down to is the actual foundations behind exactly what you are doing, right? And as I've said so many times, this is exactly why my company message is do it right. Because if you do it right and you are in this position where you're like, right, things are going my way, sweet, what we're going to do is we're going to rock it up volume with the foundations in place to emit the max results that we obviously want within our business, right? So for example, as a first starting point, before you think about anything, you've got to always look back and think, right, have I actually got the foundational structure in place in terms of everything that I need? So that's the step-by-step walkthrough that I'm going to do with you now. So number one is going to be coming down to a niche, right? Number two is going to be coming down to your offer. Number three is going to come down to your actual program itself. Number four is going to come down to your actual pricing structure and what you need to be doing in terms of your pitch. From that point, number five is going to be coming down to your actual content strategy. So we've got content. Number six is going to then come down to acquisition. And then when we're moving down, which I'll come underneath me in a second, is going to be based on when we actually start to scale volume, right? So I'm going to put this list out there as a first starting point because, for example, right, let's just say that you are not selecting the right type of niche. That means that if you're not selecting the right type of niche, then what it means is when you are creating content, it's not going to land and it's not going to be that effective, right? When we are looking at acquisition strategies, everything's going to break down because your offer doesn't actually align to that niche to emit a response within content and within acquisition. So regardless of how you look at this, it will always come back down to making sure that you're actually doing this right from the start. This is not just a case of thinking, right, all I need is more volume, because what I always like to explain to people is we're looking for the path. Oh, sorry, that's not how you spell path. The path of least resistance, right? If you are in a position where you've got the path of least resistance and then you basically put volume behind that, then you are going to get max rewards with minimal effort, right? That's basically what we want in business. How do we create the path of least resistance with max rewards for a minimal effort? So when we're looking at effort, that is going to be based on not as much volume to emit the actual response that we want. It means that we are not going to have to put as much money in terms behind ads because we're doing this right from the start, right? So when we're basically looking at the initial niche, the core foundations that we want within that niche is going to be pain, it's going to be their problems, and it's also going to be their goals, right? If we know someone's pain, we know their problems, and we know them inside out, what that allows us to do is actually think about how we are going to present an offer to them, right? And when we're looking at creating an offer, what we're basically looking at is to create pain, which is then going to force them into a point of action, which is obviously going to be a interaction, right? So if we can get someone who's interested in our offer based on how specific it is to that niche, then we're going to be onto a winner straight away. From that point, the next thing that you need to look at is think about how you're actually going to create an industry leading program. So if we want to be taking, which we'll come to a second, which is the prices and pitching, for example, we need to make sure that when we are actually presenting a program to them, it is really fucking appealing, right? People are buying a process and they're buying an objective, right? So we need to provide them with a clear roadmap and a clear program that's going to get them from their current situation to their desired situation. So for example, when we're looking at a program, what I always like to present is think about it in phases, right? If you try and sell your program based on deliverables, then all people's going to be thinking about is what they're going to get next week in their check-in, right? If you actually take the time to put together a custom phased approach, which I'm going to do another YouTube video on, right? What people are going to be thinking about is that's going to be like 12-month program. So if we've got someone naturally thinking about the duration that it's going to take them to get to the objective, the likelihood of us getting a PIF payment is going to be much greater. So the next thing from that point is to really think about the actual pricing and structure that we're going to put together. What I would highly recommend for most online coaches is a standard practice. Like, don't get me wrong, I have some clients charging over £1,000 per month. I have some clients who charge £500 a month. Completely depends on your niche, completely depends on your offer and where you are in business. But let's just say We've got £250 per month as a starting point there, right? So what we basically need to do in order to get money through the door and easily be hitting 10K and fucking way above is we need to focus on the actual 12-month PIF first, right? And this is not about being a sleaze bag, because I know people hate PIFs for some reason, but end of the day, if you're selling a robust 12-month sick phase design process and someone's willing to come in and purchase that, then sweet, you're going to be better off getting money through the business, and it's also better for them in terms of their commitment and likelihood of getting the results, so they don't actually drop off when first thing something happens in life. So for example, if we've got £250 per month, then what you could do is you could run a model that I've spoke about before, which is basically 2,400 for the year. You've then got a 6 month, which is going to be I think it was 1,350. And then you've also got the final one, which is going to be like 750 for a PIF, which doesn't include any type of discount, right? What you can also do from this point, and I'm going to have to put a little bit of a strand there, is you can basically have a 50-50 split, right? So you have a 50-50 split here where you've got an on-call incentive. So you've got an on-call and then you've got a off day, right? So if someone's on the call and they're willing to come in and sign up, then what you can do is you can actually incentivize that by giving them a slight little bit of a discount away from if they go away and think about it and come back to you. So what that's going to allow us to do is to really heavily focus on the fact that we have got a clear, robust program, right? Which is really cool, really designed, really customized, hyper specific, addressing loads of pain points. And we create that process, which let's just say, for example, this is going to be 8 weeks, that is going to be 8 weeks, that is going to be 8 weeks, and so on. So we've created this robust program, and all we're going to do is we're going to pitch to them with that 12-month PIF first, right? So they can either say yes or no. It's as simple as that. But we're always best off trying to actually sell the top number first, because it allows someone to feel like they're getting a discount every time they drop the number down. So if they don't want the 12-month, that's absolutely fine. Then we're going to go for a 6-month, right? So at that point still, taking £1,350 into your business is 10 times better than just taking 250 quid, where someone might leave you in the next 4 weeks and you've set them up for an absolute waste of time. The next thing from that point is if someone, again, doesn't want to, then we aim to hit that 750 PIF, right? You only, in my opinion, should ever be dropping down to monthly recurring revenue sales if, one, you need monthly recurring revenue in your business to maintain its current overheads and expenses. Also, if you are just kind of looking to scale in terms of a bit of security and you just want to make sure that you've got, let's just say, £6,000 a month coming in through MMR, but most of the other time you're best off going, right, I'm going to hit them with the top number, and then I'm going to hit them with the second number, and I'm going to hit them with the third number, right? And on top of that, I'm going to use an on-call sign-up incentive. So I'll do that in blue so it's different. So we're going to put a on-call sign-up incentive, then we've got an off-call. So we're going to try and get pressure into the call. So the two things that people need when they are purchasing something is going to be trust, pain, connection, but most importantly, some form of opportunity and pressure, right? That is human nature. That's how we buy shit. So, for example, if you went on to a festival, right? When someone is buying into a festival, right, there's always a third release, right? All that's basically doing is giving you guys and the audience pressure to purchase, right? That is the only reason that they're doing it, is because if they've got different phase releases, it puts people under pressure then the purchase, right? Natural human emotion, right? So from that point, what we're basically looking at is we have got number one, we've got a clear niche. So let's just say, for example, I'm going to put a tick on this one, right? We have got a clear niche and we're really, really confident with that. From that point, we have got an offer where we've got a long form offer statement. We've got a short form message. We're articulating what we do at high level where people can really understand it. Number three, from that point, we're not just selling shit as sugar, I like to call it. We have got a robust, unreal, sick program design, what's got a clear phase progress, clear time duration. So we're going to tick that box. Based on the fact of the duration of our program, we are then going to put a pricing structure together for 12 months, 6 months, and then for 3 months. So straight away, for example, this is now putting us in a position where all we need is 4 fucking sales there to get £10,000 per month. So, for example, if I just wrote that on, this would allow us to be in a position where if we have 4 sales there, we're onto an absolute winner, right? If we then get 7 sales there, we've got 10K. And again, if we're coming in, that's going to be more like 12, as an example, right? But so in reality, if we've got this type of pricing model, this type of structure, the chances of us earning £10,000 per month and a hell of a lot more is going to be much greater, right? So once we're now at that point, we're then going to be thinking about how do we actually get people into this business, which is going to come down to the content acquisition and sales. So I'm just going to create a little bit more space down at the bottom here because these are really, really important. So number one, like we've just put down, is content. Number 2 is going to be acquisition. And then number 3 is going to come down to volume, right? So in order for us to get leads into the business and earn 10 grand, 100 grand, whatever per month, it's going to come back to that bottom line, right? Regardless of whatever you want to look at it, you're going to have to come in, you're going to have to do this, right? So what we're kind of looking at as a first starting point is your content strategy. And you don't even need to be looking at paid traffic in any way, shape or form. But content is going to come down to 3 different areas. So content is going to be number 1, right? And the most important thing is you, right? Your personal brand is the single thing that's going to allow for the more of the path of least resistance. If someone is in a position, right, where they feel like they actually trust you and they are connected to you, right? If we went back to why people purchase, then that is going to increase the likelihood of you getting a sale 10 times more just because someone is invested into you as a person, right? Bottom line. The next thing that we're basically looking for there is making sure that we have actually got content that's going out, which is hyper specific and talking about the niche pain, talking about their problems, right? And most importantly, we are coming in and we're going to provide value, right? What you've got to take into account when we're looking at value is not just based on information. Value is based on how someone processes what you are putting to them. So an analogy that I say to a lot of people all the time is how a message is delivered is as important as the message itself. So for example, if someone values what you are saying to them and they value you and they value your content, they will process and digest your content a lot more. You can be putting out the fucking absolute what is the meaning of life answers and all that type of stuff, but if someone doesn't value your content and value you, they're not going to digest what you've got to say. So when we're looking at value, that is going to come down to how creative can you be in terms of presenting your offer and presenting this to your niche and presenting information. From that point, we just need to make sure that everything that we are coming is basically backing up with offer. Because if you're creating loads of value, for example, you've got loads of trust and connection, you've got paying problems, everything else, but you are not coming in and presenting your offer consistently to people, then that is going to lead to a point where people don't actually have anything to fucking attach onto or purchase. So we need to make sure that the core foundations of our content strategy is about you, it's about that niche, and it's about that offer. Right. In terms of acquisition from that point, which is going to be the biggest element when we're looking at scaling volume, right? What we've basically got to look at is, right, what is the fastest way for us to come in and generate as much trust and as much connection, as much opportunity as is humanly possible. So this is where we're basically looking at lead magnets, right? And how I want you to look at lead magnets, right, is this is not about giving someone, right, a taste of what you are doing. What I want you to do with your lead magnets is actually blow people's fucking minds, right? Basically, whatever your best shit is, give it away for free. Because if we come in and you've got like an incredible format, incredible managing operating system, or whatever problem or resolution that you're going to provide, and if you can directly solve it for that person, they are going to be 10 times more likely to enter a conversation, respond to you, get onto a call and get that sale. Because if you've helped them based on one free asset, how much more are they going to come in and how much are they going to trust you, right? So for example, if you have got a point where you've got shit lead magnets, you are going to have no response off the back of that. So when you're thinking about the problems and solutions that you can provide to someone, think about how you can, in essence, get to a point where someone can seriously actually trust what you've got to say. Because if someone really trusts you and they're connected to you and you're solving a problem, your likelihood of getting a sale is going to be 10 times more, right? From that point, what we've basically got to look at is going to be volume, right? So volume is going to come down to so many different variables, right? Number 1, it's going to be cross-channel, right? So just because you are posting mostly on Instagram does not mean that you cannot be doing content when it comes to all other channels, right? When it comes to volume, when you've got lead magnets, for example, just because Instagram does not mean the fact that you can't do it across all other channels, right? From that point, for example, as a first starting, right, all we need to do is think about, right, how do we do more of this? So let's start by doing 2 lead magnets per month, right? That there potentially might equal us having 250, right, warm outbound conversations, right? So that's great because we're still focusing on warm traffic. We've not even looked at cold or anything like that yet. So in order for us to get more lead magnets, downloads, and more opt-ins and more interactions, what we need to do is we need to scale the cross-channel, right? So for example, when it comes to volume, that is going to come back down to the value and creativity that you are actually doing behind aiming to actually get your viral content in there, which is going to be very rare for a lot of us out there. But still, you need to try it because that's the way that you're going to reach new people. Right. And the other side of this, you've then got connections. So if you are on LinkedIn or if you are on Facebook, you need to be making sure that you are looking at connecting with 30 new people on those pages every single fucking day. Because if you're creating more volume through connections, then what that means is going to be more people who are actually going to be coming in and actually digesting your content. And if more people are digesting your content and trusting what you've got to say, then that's going to get to a point of people actually downloading more volume of your actual lead magnets, which is then going to lead to a point of actually having an active conversation, right? And from that point, it's about how you think about maintaining that level of outbound, right? That is all this bottom line comes down to, right? Every single thing that we've done here is by having I'm just going to do a shadow. So we've got a niche as number one, right? The only reason that we're doing a niche is to make sure that we've got a clear offer, right? If we've got a clear offer, then we can get to a point of actually having, didn't mean to do that. Go back. If we've then got a clear offer, it means that we've then got a clear program. If we've got a clear program, we can create clear pricing, which is actually morally right based on the value that you're providing. Once we have then got to a point of having clear pricing, all we do is we have a content strategy where our aim is to scale as much volume as possible. Once we've got a clear content strategy, all we then need to do is make sure that we've actually got acquisition efforts in place. And then from that point, all we are basically trying to do is, in essence, scale both of them. How do we scale content? Wrong pen. How do we scale content? And then also, how do we scale outbound? If you want to dramatically scale your coaching business, it will come back to that bottom line. That is how you do it. We need more volume of content and more people seeing your shit. And this is without me even talking about Instagram boosted funnels and all that type of stuff, right? But for example, as an initial starting point, all I need you to be thinking about is doing a step-by-step process of all of these variables here, guys, yeah? If you do this and you do this right from the start, all you then need to do from that point is put more volume into the business, and then you're on to an absolute winner. See you on the next video.